Yo, welcome back to VLR with Justin and Ulan. We are proceeding to another lock.
What?
Sigma's BP is...
Negative!
Yeah. All eyes on me. Result I expected. Alright, we'll go ahead and hit skip until it hits something new. Accelavir we get. But then are we going to be able to survive? Alright, do we not have the unlock for it? Huh. Okay, so despite that being lock 3, we can't actually do it yet, apparently. Despite the fact that we kind of know what he needs for it, but whatever. Alright, instead, I suppose, yeah, we'll try lock number 4. Where we're pretty sure all of us are infected and we need to duplicate the medicine. Skip until something new. Oh, here we go. Immunoglobin.
Do you know what it's another name for antibodies?
Yep.
Replicator yeah, probably. Who knows? Ice cream, but...
And... Eureka! I've got it! The IG replicator in the laboratory. It's an immunoglobin replication machine.
What?
It can copy immunoglobin antibodies. Luna just said Accelavir is made from antibodies. That means we can make more Accelavir.
Hold on a moment. There is a strange device in the laboratory that says IG replicator on it. Clover and I examined it thoroughly when we were in the...
Yeah, we never could figure out what it did, though.
Exactly. My question is, how do you know about it, Sigma?
I saw it when I was in the laboratory.
Probably when you were looking for Alice, right?
Thank you for the cover, Dio. No, Dio was wrong. I hadn't gone to the laboratory when I was looking for Alice. I don't think I'd ever been to the laboratory, so I don't know about the IG replicator. Just say,
if
yeah,
what
sure.
you're saying is true, that would mean we could cure Alice and Quark.
Oh, no,
Let's
so
go have a look then.
We haven't realized that it's all of us.
The laboratory, right?
Yeah, no time to...
We all nodded. Wait, we can't leave them here all alone. Luna, do you think you could stay behind and look after them?
Oh, of course. I'd be happy to.
Alright, let's go. Don't need the whole trip, guys. I can't skip. Despite the fact that this is clearly stuff we've seen 100 times before. Just beat it out, I guess. Alright, so finally, at the laboratory. Yes, let's get over to it.
So this is...
Yes.
Huh?
Where's this
How do I
IG?
activate it? Right
So
here.
this can copy the
So maybe
Accelavir?
we can only make a single copy, seeing as how we would need another vial. I think so.
What are we waiting for?
Calm down, alright? Don't rush me. Carefully lower the small vial of Accelavir into a slot on the side of the machine. An empty vial already protruded from the other side, presumably that's where the duplicated Accelavir would go. Yeah.
Skip it. Just press the damn...
Yeah, really. And pressed. The issue here being, yeah, if we only do the copying once, we only have the 10. Whereas we probably need, well, or it would probably be wise to take the second sample, go use it, come back, make another, use that, and leave the original in here for cloning. Well, I mean, except we know Dio would be.
Have a look. The empty
Devious
vial
about
has
it.
something in it now.
And the vial
And it's the
Sigma
same
used
color
remains
anyway.
as it was. It does not seem to have lost any of its contents.
So, it worked?
Would have been pretty bad if it hadn't.
I guess, yeah, you're right, because then we might have lost even the only one. Although, again, we should really not only do 2, I reached down and pulled both vials from the machine and slipped them deftly into my pocket. Are you kidding me?
What happened?
Ah, shit. Sorry, my hand slipped.
You dropped one of them?
Yeah, just
What
one
in the
though.
hell? What if you'd broken it, you idiot?
Come on, if it had broken, we could have just made another copy. 410 Miyagi could reply if I spoke.
Guys?
What? I was surprised to hear her voice coming from near my feet. I looked down to see her staring intently at something beneath the table.
You see? It did break.
No, the vial's fine. See?
Yeah, so this is where one of them is. Held it up in one hand, but didn't move her eyes.
Then what the heck is going on down there?
Take a look.
She slid back from the table, quickly and silently. The rest of us bent down to look. Which is unfortunately not the one we have a code for. Oh, right, but yeah, I don't think in any of the ones we've even found the thing that you need to plug in order to do the thing, so... Yeah, super meaningless
Whoa.
anyway.
Really? That makes 2 then.
Ah, interesting. So this route has... Oh, right, yeah, I think this is, science. I think this is... the
Guess
route
Kay
we
was
already
right
know
after
first
all.
one.
So there were more bombs.
So it would seem.
Yep.
Was this here when you guys came through the first time?
No.
Yeah, I
Really?
didn't see anything, and I looked real hard.
Then somebody must have said it while we were looking for Alice.
So Zero knows about... Hold on. So Zero somehow knew about the bombs, but he's not the one planting them.
Who the hell would do that?
We were all out looking for Alice. Could have been any of us.
No, not any of us. I was back in the infirmary.
Oh, shoot. So actually the fact that we kind of tacitly accepted Dio's... So Dio was not trying to help us at all. He was trying to plant us
Quark
in
was
this
still out.
location.
So we shouldn't consider you a sus, is that right?
Yeah. Quark's...
But Tenmyoji, you have no proof that you spent the entire time in the infirmary, do you?
What?
You could have quietly made your way to the laboratory, planted the bomb.
That's insane. Listen to yourself. There's no way in hell I'd have left Quark all by himself to go plant a goddamn bomb.
But they don't know that. Tenmyoji was still staring furiously at Kay when Clover spoke up.
Hey, what's this thing?
Oh, please don't be touching another bomb. Turned in time to see her grab something from under the table.
It looks like
Oh,
a
okay.
memory card.
Where was it?
Right under the bomb. It was down on the
Why
floor
did you
under the
touch it?
Could it have been put here by the same... There was nothing like it here when we
Possibly.
examined...
You think they dropped
Unless
it
it was left here intentionally, yes. I imagine so.
It just occurred to me, unless... Well, no, I thought from the Dio ending we discovered that it was definitely him trying to detonate them, but I guess just because he was trying to detonate them doesn't necessarily mean he was the one setting them. I don't know. Because, like, why would he have left
What do you
this?
think's on it?
Let's take a look. Well,
Yeah.
we can't look at it here, can we? Look around the room. Nothing. Yeah, no, we gotta go back up to the infirmary. In all likelihood. Shoot. No dice. We'll need to plug it into something that can read memory cards.
So
but I
what
don't
do we
see anything
do?
here. Come on, if I knew I'd be doing it. Upstairs. I guess this isn't the route where
10
we
minutes
discovered that
remain until
there's a
Ambidex game
card thing on
polling
the side of the
closes.
upstairs one.
All players, if no vote is recorded.
I didn't remember that had
guys,
been open.
I think
Oh,
maybe
right.
we should
This
get
is
back to
still
the
only
top
after the
floor.
second one because of him.
Yeah, you're right. We've got what we came here for.
Yeah, technically.
What should we do about the...
Let
Not
everyone
much
else
we can.
know.
Alice said it'd be dangerous to touch them.
True.
But
Drop
what?
it. We can talk about the bomb right now. We need to take care of Alice and...
Yeah, go back to the infirmary, give them the elevator, head back to the Florida
Right.
warehouse. So, yeah, you are just planning on curing them and ignoring the fact that others of you are probably
This ought to
infected.
do it. It might take a little while.
Her voice was quiet as she backed away from Alice and Quark. In her hand was the injection gun, and carefully moved the empty vial, placed it gently in the cabinet with the other one. While we were in the lab, Luna had moved Quark to a crude cot. They both looked peaceful as they slept. Madness I'd seen on their faces before was completely gone. Well, I mean...
Are they really going to be all right?
They went unconscious, but whatever.
Yes. The analysis I did on the vials confirmed that the duplicate was real Excelivir.
We used it all rather than keeping one
The
for
original was
more, but
genuine too.
okay.
Now that they've been treated,
It's only a matter of time.
I believe so,
From
yes.
them.
Oh man, I was really...
Alright, Clover grinned. Agreed. Alright. Unfortunately, now it's time for votes. Yep, because we are probably down to like
5 minutes
or 5.
remain.
All right, everybody. We can be relieved later. Right now, we need to get to the AB rooms and fast.
Or at least one person from every
Damn.
group.
Don't even have time
Bare
to catch our
minimum.
breath.
Come on. Yeah, and who do we have to thank for that, Dio? Really don't want to hear any complaining out of him. Alright. I have no idea which group I'm in at this point because I don't remember what the path was to this point. Yeah, what? Let's quit standing around and get in the AB rooms. Where's Tenmyoji? Why stay?
He stayed...
What?
Why?
Well,
What
when
do
we
you
were all
think,
heading
why?
out, I noticed he wasn't doing anything. So I asked him if he was coming. And
No,
this is
of
what...
course. He's gonna stay with Quark.
I'm still worried about Quark and Alice. I think I'll stick around and make sure they're okay.
Yeah, and as long as one
I
other
see.
person from his group and from both of their groups votes, doesn't matter.
That means that Phi's only opponent will be Dio.
Okay. One-on-one, huh?
It's nothing to worry about. I plan to choose Ally. You know why?
Sure.
Because I've only got one BP.
Exactly. If you chose Ally and I betrayed you, your BP would drop below... I want to win, but I'm not that desperate. You see what I'm saying, right?
Tenmyoji and Dio are a pair. Tenmyoji only had one BP left. Since Dio said he's going to pick Ally, Phi can't really pick anything else. If she does, Tenmyoji will...
Yeah, that's
That is
pretty
the
much it.
predicament, isn't it?
Kay and I are gonna be going one-on-one too, right?
So... Yeah, but how much did Dio have? If he has 6, I assure you he still goes ahead and kills her and leaves.
Since Quark's still sleeping,
That is correct.
How many BP do you guys have?
I've got 6.
As do I.
This will be a tough one then.
If one of them can get the other to Ally, and then betray that person, the betrayer will have 9 points.
So they kind of need to both choose betray, honestly.
Look, Kay, I know you don't really have any...
I know.
Sure,
You would
of
like us
course.
both to vote Ally, yes?
Yeah.
I agree. If we were to both betray, then we would gain no points.
Yeah.
We would lose nothing either, but that's hardly relevant. If both of us cooperate, then we will both gain 2 points.
Yes,
which is
because
much
then
more
that means
beneficial.
that no matter who you're up against in the next round, you can get out after the next round of voting. Because you'll only be 1 point away, and anything short of getting betrayed or double betraying will
Right.
get you out.
Oh, you're really gonna do it?
Yes,
Well,
Promise?
We'll see.
promise.
Yeah, we'll
One
see.
minute remaining.
I don't know. I
Shit,
felt
this is
there.
bad. We need to move.
Indeed, shall we?
And again, whose fault is that? Dio. Dio, K, Phi, and Clover all went off. Counting from the left, Dio went to the... Yeah, I don't really care which respective one. So it's
Sounds
Luna and
good.
myself. I guess Alice was either my partner or hers in this round. I don't remember what room I investigated or who it was with, so I don't know. I mean, obviously it had to have been with, well, hold on. So if it had to have been with Luna in the second round, then this was probably the one where we went to the Golem Bay, which was also with Alice, and I still don't remember if Alice was her partner or my partner. One of us is a solo, at any rate. Alright, so once again, as usual, we'll go with Ally first.
Third.
It's
Oh, wait.
probably a little late to say this. You know Alice is still in the
So
infirmary.
we are the partners. Stay there.
So,
Yeah, she has to pick Ally. Yep.
yes.
I know, it's not fair to betray someone who isn't voting. And yet, not be sappy. Okay, grinned back at her before I knew what I was doing for a minute. Okay.
10 seconds remain. 9,
Yeah.
8, 7, 6,
Hold the
5,
countdown and just let me
4,
vote.
3, 2, 1.
Right, so, what is the ally route like? And is it any
Round
longer
results. Thank you. And
And
the
then
day
immediately
six.
ending because
Now
Alice and or
opening.
Kay have betrayed each or not Alice, Clover and or Kay have betrayed each other. We'll see. Luna and I stepped out of the AB room. Alright,
Okay.
so look then. Honestly, I'm still not entirely sure that Dio didn't try to.
Results from round,
Betray.
please direct.
Depends on how many points he had. Because if he had 6, I assured he was trying to leave. Alright, double betray. So at least they did say, alright. Yeah. How? Ah, that's why it was so important to register which gate everyone had gone in. But did Clover go into Alice's? Like, yeah, who would have had the motive to ensure that, oh, Sigma's now dead and Alice gets away? Because she can't leave right now, but the only and no one else should have her bracelet because she's been cured, so she should still be alive. It should still be hooked to her, so that should mean that the only person who would have even kind of had a motive for that would be Clover. But how did Clover's a solo. She couldn't have chosen Betray. Yeah, hold up, wait a minute. Clover couldn't have chosen Betray and also been in Alice's room and chosen Betray. All the others are Betray.
Points
How did that end up?
Or subtracted accordingly.
Because I'm pretty sure and plus that shouldn't be the case that the rule was a lie and it's actually random or something.
Updated
I don't know how that happened. That's going to be curious. So now I'm in the same position once again. What? It wasn't possible. I blinked, rubbed my eyes, and looked again. Yep. No, that's not possible. How can Alice's vote be Betray? This is a question I would never know the answer to. It was a sharp, quick pain in my wrist, barely even noticeable. Couldn't feel anything flowing in my veins, but I knew it was there. First would be the anesthetic. Blinked and my vision started to blur. Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Sigma! Sigma! Hang on! Oh no! Sigma, get up!
Sigma!
Sigma!
No, why?
Forget why. How? Still really want to know the how. Then we can deal with the why. Everything was growing blurry. Noticed the door in the second AB room was open. No one had gone into that room. And yet there she stood, an apparition that couldn't possibly be real. Alice. The world was gradually going black and my mouth refused to form words. My head echoed with questions. How? Why? What was she doing there? Had she run in at the last moment after Luna and I had entered our room? But even if she had, why choose Betray? Well, to get out, obviously. Then the darkness closed over my mind as well, and my questions were gone forever. Okay. The real question is going to be then, do we get any of those answered by choosing Betray? Save progress. Turn back to the AB part. Go to skip. There we go. Here we go, and Betray. Alright, so yes, it's still skipping, so this is still old dialogue. Alright, now it stops. Luna and I stepped out of the AB room.
Why? What happened to... It's not...
Yeah, I thought... There was nothing I could think of to say. Even I didn't really understand why I picked Betray instead. It almost felt unconscious, like some other part of my mind was making the decision. Perhaps I'd been possessed by some... Okay. Against my will. Right, well, we should go see the results.
We already know what they are. It's just simple.
Do we? Look in her eyes was the most painful day punch I'd ever taken. I turned away and almost ran toward the projector. Anything to get away from those eyes.
Results from round
Yeah,
2
the feeling this is gonna be
of the Ambidex game will
again.
now be
There is no
displayed.
one in there.
Please direct.
I mean, she had 6. So, like, even if this is a Betray ally scenario, it doesn't hurt her that much. Alright, double Betray, we're safe there. Double Betray, we're safe there. Yep, so we should at least get some answers. And it was double Betray. So, yeah, again, we don't take anything from her anyway. So, but this time, we should be able to get some answers.
Points, please.
And the other two pairs will be arguing because this time they won't have the focal point of, uh-oh, Sigma dead. What? It wasn't possible. Yep. No, how could that be a Betray? That's not possible. Alright, yeah, the way she's standing, she somehow got in there while being, from all appearances, like, barely conscious. Mine was still reeling. Where'd she come from? As I was trying to form a sentence, she began to move toward us. For around me, I heard a chorus of muted gasps. It seemed we were united in our surprising confusion. Alice drew to a stop in front of me and glanced up at the display.
Thought you'd get an easy couple points, huh? Not so easy when you have to look your victim in the eye, is it?
You're still a douchebag.
Coward.
Me, a coward? You got some balls saying that to me after you picked the tray. Why are you even here?
You gave me the antivirus, didn't you? Tenmyoji told me. Thank you.
Yeah, and she had to have woken up and gotten here real fast, because we went in with, like, 10 seconds to go.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
You should still be in.
Yes, well, I still am. I have a throbbing headache, and I'm more resistant to anesthetics than most people. A result of my training. I have a feeling Zero Senior knew that. They gave me way more than the standard dose of that gas when they kidnapped me. In any event, a few minutes ago, Tenmyoji explained what was...
Got here as fast as I could. Yeah, of course. Right after we
Yes, right in the nick of about 10 seconds before the deadline, as I...
Yeah, it had to have been.
You did that just so you could betray us?
Right. What? Don't I get to do that?
See, again, this is what I don't like. At least when Kay makes his differing decisions, it's all based on the same logic. Alice flips-flops back and forth like, oh, I get to be a prick, and then, oh, how dare you!
I mean, it turned out to be the right thing to do, didn't it?
No, because in the other timeline, you did this regardless and killed me.
You two chose betray. If I'd stayed back there, I'd have lost 2 points.
Oh, whoop-de-doo.
So you're saying it was self-defense?
Yes.
No. Yeah, you're full of shit. Self-defense, my ass. You chose betray because you wanted out. You had 6. If I'd picked ally, you would have had 9. No. Not only 9, and I'd have been dead.
So what if I was?
Are you serious? You would have killed me. Yep. Look, I have only 1 BP. You were this close to murdering me. Just admit it. You were planning to kill me so you could escape.
Don't be stupid. I knew you'd choose betray.
Right, yes, this
There
is
was...
what I hate so much. Tell the truth.
That is the truth. Why am I the only one getting the 3rd degree here?
Because you
Look
attempted
at those
murder.
results. 2 other people just tried to kill someone.
Possibly, yeah. And now we do get to hear they're arguing as well.
Yeah, if Dio had chosen ally, Phi would have killed Tenmyoji. And if she'd chosen ally, Dio would have killed her.
Yep.
I don't want to be rude, but it looks like Clover and Kay tried to trick one another. Not that it seems to have worked. If either one had chosen ally,
Which again,
the other one would have
because
9 BP
we know
right
that this
now.
is at least consistent with Kay's character. When Kay is at 6 and he can get to 9 without killing someone, he does it. And he owns up to it after the vote. He'll be deceptive until then, but then after the vote, he owns up to it and says, sorry, this was the most logical choice, and didn't try to kill someone for it. Whereas Alice has now proven that not only does she vote absolutely wildly and blame whoever the other person is, she also absolutely is willing to do so while trying to murder someone. Whereas, I mean, yeah, Phi is fairly self-defensive and survival-based, and Dio is a prick. Turn to look at the results again, for I'd only been looking at my own. I hadn't realized there was one other word all across the roster. Betray. Whatever trust we'd managed to build had fallen apart. Everyone was suspicious of everyone else. Had it been the bombs? Maybe. Curious. So the only 2 we found are the 2 and 3, so we haven't even found the one that we were given the password for. Well, and we have another password, but we don't know which bomb it goes to. Whatever the reason, if it kept up, we'd never manage to escape. We'd be trapped in a cycle of 0-point rounds for the rest of our lives. Something had to be done. Closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Alright guys, pay attention. You've probably already all figured this out, but we can't keep going like this. If we don't start being a little more trusting, we're never gonna get out of here. We need to work together. We might as well have been talking to a wall, yeah, especially with that word choice.
My apologies, Sigma, but I need to think on something for a bit. I would appreciate being left alone.
Okay.
I'll be leaving too. Things are getting a little too intense here for my delicate constitution. Sorry.
Whatever.
Well, in that
Let's go
case...
see Tenmyoji. Yeah, let's go see Tenmyoji in court. The only people who didn't come in here and vote betrayed. At 2-5.
Yeah, sorry.
Whatever. Without another word, she turned and left the warehouse.
See? There's your answer. In the end, everyone's just thinking about themselves. So I would appreciate it if you could not treat me like I'm the only villain here. Come on.
Man, she's infuriating.
Let's go.
Hold on! I'm coming!
Yes, of course you are.
Are you feeling okay?
Phrasing.
I was really worried, you know?
Of course you are. Anyway, watch them walk away. Clover jumping with delight to have Alice back. For long, they reach the yellow door and disappear from each other. Yeah, and she's disappointed in me too, but whatever.
No.
You're not gonna leave too? Okay, well, are you sure? I chose betray.
But I still believe in you, Sigma. I think your hand must have just slipped or something, right?
No, but blinked, I felt something hot and wet prick the corners of my eyes. Luna, I don't know. Before I could think of it, the metallic rumble of the doors closing echoed through the warehouse.
The Ambidex Gate, round 3 of the Star Keys.
Oh, right, no, in this one we still
there
have to do the
is
white door.
no set limit. The Ambidex Gate.
Yes, as long as that means we can keep playing the AB game over and over too.
No,
Sigma,
we haven't gone through the white ones yet, right?
do you remember what Zero Jr. said?
No.
As soon as the gates close.
Yeah, colors get shuffled. Okay, yes. Yeah, I remember. Okay. Cyan pear. What about you?
I'm,
Magenta pear, yep. Alright, wonder
we
what the
could be
others are.
anything. We won't know until...
Yep. Got about... Yep, just about an hour and a half. So no, we have not been through the white ones this time yet.
Everyone
What
else
should we do
has
now?
gone off on their own.
Yeah, well, physically and emotionally. Really don't like how this is going. It won't matter how many times we repeat the AB game if nobody trusts anybody else. We'll never be able to get out of
Maybe
here.
it would help if we all had a common goal.
No kidding.
Something to unite our hearts and minds.
Yeah, but we've already got something like that. We all want to get out of here. That seemed like a pretty clear goal to me, but everybody chose betray, including me.
Well, what if we have an enemy? Yes.
That's probably
a
still not
common
a good
foe,
idea.
Like the person who set the bombs, for instance.
We already have Zero! What more do you need? After coming back from the lab, I told her about the bomb while she gave Alice and Cork the Accelerator. Yeah, that might work, but again, we've already both established that Zero's one of us, and that Zero trapped us all in this game in the first place, so if common goal get out, and common goal one of us is Zero, aren't enough to unify, I don't see what the point is then. How do we figure out who it is?
Do you have any clues?
No, I don't think. Oh, I guess, but is this a route where I know where to put that in?
What's this?
Does she know that the thing in the infirmary can read it?
Really?
I don't know what's on it though. Can't find any card.
I guess we can't.
No, she doesn't know about
wait
it.
a sec,
Wait,
you know
okay,
what?
Maybe she does.
Yes, the infirmary. I saw it when I was searching the infirmary. There was a memory card.
I was gonna say, whoever searched the infirmary had to have used it to solve the infirmary puzzle.
I think we can see what the computer...
Yep. Alright, so let's go do. And not tell anyone else about it. Luna and I exploded in the infirmary, nearly running into... Of course she's in there. Cork was there asleep.
What are you doing here?
Now he's had such a hard time waking up after that then. Opened my mouth to retort, then thought better of it. If I really wanted people to start trusting each other, well, real change starts at home. As quickly as I could, I explained the second bomb in the memory card and how we'd come to the infirmary in hopes that we could discover the contents of the ladder.
Okay.
Then stick it in already!
Go ahead.
Alright, this is absolutely intentional at this point. Just as Luna had said, small slot, yeah, right where the arrows point to. Moment screen filled with random letters, so that's fun. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So this could be like a crossword that contains all of the needed, because it's all letters. Let's see, how tall is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What were the... No, but these were 9 long. 18. So it's not divisible by 9 going sideways, and it's not long enough up and down. But it could, if you take it as just an entire string, technically, I guess the passwords could be included in here. I'm not checking for that.
6 rows, 22 letters each.
It looks like the odd rows use one set of letters, and the even rows use another set.
Oh, okay. Good call. I had not caught that.
In other words, the first 2 rows just repeat.
Yeah.
It doesn't look random to me. I think there might be a pattern.
Sure.
Was there anything else on there?
Surely this is a bomb route, so it's got to be related to the bomb, and it's letters. So it's got to be related to the bomb password, but there's several letters too many in each case.
No, it doesn't look like it.
So all I got is this gibberish. You haven't said anything for a
Does
while.
any
What's
of
up?
this look familiar to you, Clover?
What?
Have you seen something
I'm
like this
guessing
maybe
not
during
really
your
to
training?
Clover, but to Alice.
This is...
So you do recognize it.
All right, knock it off, you two. How about you share it with the rest of the class?
Alice sighed and stretched her neck from side to side.
I believe this is an
Cipher,
encoded
cipher.
message from a terrorist organization.
What?
They call themselves the Myrmidons.
Okay, and what is it saying? Let's start with that, please.
What are the Myrmidons?
Put
No.
simply, they're a bunch of
But-
thugs who are trying to destroy or dismantle most of humans.
So this thing will... You think it's theirs?
Well, they have a number of different codes, but I do think this is one of them.
Then
Okay,
the bomb?
What do you think
It
it
was
says?
said by one of them.
Yes. Well, I can't say for sure, of course,
well, then,
but
yeah,
it seems
considering
likely.
the Dio route, we know he's one of them, so yes, it almost certainly is him then. But then, why would he have dropped this? Unless he wants us to find it. Why would he want us to find it? To taunt us before detonating? Honestly, why is he waiting on the detonation then? Oh, right, he wants out. My bad, never mind, I forgot, right. Damn, I've got a ton of questions for you, but let me start with this one. Yeah, what does it say?
I don't know.
I thought you said...
How
so
am
you
I supposed to
recognize it.
decode it? I don't have the key. Without
Oh,
a key,
okay.
it would take literally hundreds of years to decode.
Well,
What about you, Clover?
Well, if Alice doesn't know how, I sure don't.
See.
Well, so all it really does then is put an identifier on who put the bomb there. But only really to us, none of them have that knowledge yet. How's Clever? Who the hell are you? Okay, so we're finding out about this a little bit anyhow. Eliminate enemies of the state or something like that. Just what kind of job is that? I think it's time you told us what you do.
Sorry, but I can't.
Why
Because
not?
you might be one of them. You might be the person who set the bomb.
That's idiotic. Of course
Really?
Well, no.
And
regardless
where's
of
your
that,
proof?
how would that affect?
For all I know, you're my enemy. I can't tell you anything.
I'm not your enemy. I'm your ally. I'm your friend? Where in the world are you getting friend from? Just please tell us. Please, we need to find out who did this so we can all escape. We have too little information. We need your help. Fine, if you won't tell us about yourself, then just tell us about the Myrmidons. What else do you know about them?
I'm sorry.
Really? You're gonna just not even tell us about them? Took off after her. Why?
How long are you going to keep following me?
Until you tell
And
me
why
what you know.
don't you just ask Clover? You already know she works with me.
Well,
Then why
yeah.
don't you...
I wanted to hear it
Why?
from you. That's a good question. Remember the crew quarters or this garden? We got paired up for 2 separate rounds. That means I spent more time with you than anybody else here. Okay. This is the round where I went through the gardens. Okay. Not the one that I was thinking it was then. Maybe that's it. I guess I'm just curious about it.
What are you talking about?
Okay. Move on. Spun around to hide it, caught a blush of red on her cheeks. We walked down the path to where it ended next to the pond. Stayed silent. Alice sat down on the bench. We gazed at the smooth surface of the pond for several long minutes before she began to speak.
You don't hate me? I tried to kill you.
Yes, you did.
Yes. I was so scared. Who wouldn't be? Kidnapped and locked up, forced to play some sort of bizarre game, and then we found that bomb. I know I probably sounded calm, but as soon as we found that thing, all I wanted to do was run away from it as fast as I could.
But we know its radius covers the entire area, so...
Things just went downhill from there.
Which actually begs the question, why you need multiple bombs if the area covers the whole
I
facility,
remember
basically.
hearing that Quark had collapsed and running to the infirmary with everyone else.
Oh, right. Well... I suppose, to be fair, we do know then that, at least in some of the routes, possibly all, and it just doesn't always show up, but at least in some of the routes, some of her decision-making is going to be affected by the fact that she's infected. To some degree. It still doesn't excuse the nonsensical story nonsense about the quantum decision-making or whatever.
When I got there,
But fine, I guess.
I realized
it
I
still
couldn't
doesn't
understand what
excuse
anyone
trying
was
to kill
saying.
someone for it. But fine. Got there, yeah.
and everything looked... I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
you're
watching a
freaking
video
out.
on fast forward. Only
Doesn't
it was real.
excuse it, but fine. We're not getting anywhere if we don't start
Then I
building
started to
trust.
feel like... It's hard to... I guess you could say I didn't feel like I was myself. And
Yeah. Wait, is she unaware
yes,
that
I
she had
think
been
so.
infected?
I
with
don't
it?
remember much after that. But when I woke up in the infirmary, suddenly all that fear was back.
Oh, Accelerator
So
didn't fully work then.
All I could think about was getting out of this place as fast as I could. It never even crossed my mind that it could kill you. God help me, even if it had, I don't think I would have cared.
Again, still doesn't excuse,
See?
but fine.
I'm horrible. You hate me, don't you? Just do it! Kill me! Get it over with!
This is concerning. Did the Accelavir not work?
You're lying! I could have killed you! I would have killed you!
Come on, calm down. No one's killing anyone. And then the bombs go off. We all die. Single tear rolled down Alice's cheek. Yeah, okay. When I reached out, I saw her tense just slightly. Slowly, I brushed my thumb across her cheek and off, taking her tears with it. Alright.
Why are you doing this?
That is uncomfortably close, though.
You know, you kind of remind me of my father.
Oh, is that why you tried to kill me? That's who you were after, right? The people who killed your
Yes.
dad? Did they have anything to do with the Myrmidons? Wow!
Will you promise not to
You
tell
are
Clover that I
still
cried?
trying to push for that. I think she's going
you
to
keep your
figure
mouth
it out
shut.
anyway.
I'll tell you what you want to know about myself.
Sure.
Really?
Cecile. What crying? I don't remember any crying. Alright, good. So I guess this must be Alice End, which, now that I think about it, probably means we die pretty soon after this conversation, in all odds. Well, not necessarily. I guess in the K end, we had the conversation with him reasonably before the actual ending, so... Father's Egyptian, mother's French. Met while my mother was in Egypt on vacation, married shortly thereafter. When I was 3, we all moved to the U.S. Father was a scientist, his field was cloning. Interesting. Which links back to the lab here. It was created by an American lab, which is why we moved. Both of my parents had used English around me from the time I was born, so I didn't have any problems adapting to life in the U.S. By my 9th, we'd been there for 6 years. That was when it happened. In the middle of the day, my mother showed up at school. Her eyes were red and puffy, didn't say anything to me on the drive home. Arrived, there were several policemen there to meet us. Father had always been a very punctual man. Dinner time came and went with no sign. I began to realize something terrible had happened. I guess, had he been killed by the Myrmidons already at that point? Because this would have been... Given her age, this would have been, like... probably around, if not before, the time of even the first Nonary game. Which, itself... I don't think they've established that that pharmaceutical company was at all related to the Myrmidons. Lush. Wasn't until several I finally learned that Father's lab had been attacked by terrorists, and he had been kidnapped. Okay, worse. So he actually wasn't even dead yet. He'd been kidnapped. The rest of my childhood, mother raised me by herself. Didn't realize that then must have been incredibly difficult. Yep, alone in a country where their relatives were a transatlantic flight away. Did her best not to let me see it, but every so often she thought, was she alone? Mask would fall away, every line of her face could see the exhaustion and loneliness. Much as I miss my father, it was those moments that made me wish more than anything he'd never been taken. Fortunately, I was an excellent student, did especially well in math. I earned a full ride scholarship straight out of high school and spent the next several years studying the what? To our defense, hoping they might have the resource to help me look for my father. I was immediately assigned to a special office so to this. Their purpose is to investigate and sometimes deal with terrorist organizations and other serious threats to the state. I could tell my mother wasn't happy about my decision, but she chose to remain silent about it. Eventually, I learned that the terrorist organization Tegmite was none of it, so they were in operation even that far back. Although at the time, the name didn't mean anything to me. They were suspected of human cloning. Specifically, it was thought that they had been using cloning techniques to copy their most useful members and expand their ranks. Well, unless they have rapid aging. That's slow. And even if you do have rapid aging, then all of a sudden, yeah, they get to the age where they're useful, and then they quickly age out of it. So, cloning's not really better than just recruiting. Myrmidons apparently believed they could use cloning to create a new race of humans. genetic engineering, which doesn't even necessarily require cloning, but okay. Now at last I knew the reason for my father's abduction. Well, obviously at that point, yeah. The commander of the Myrmidons is a man named Left. No one's had to name that ridiculous so far, but okay. We know his name and his gender, but not his appearance or his age. The Myrmidons are closely associated with a cult known as Free the Soul. Believe that Free the Soul provides their funding, but trying to pin any kinds of misdeeds on the cult's leader, a man named Brother, is like trying to nail Jello to a wall. Brother is supposed to be fairly advanced in years, and rumors say he's sold, he can't even get out of bed. Unfortunately, his mind seems to be as sharp as ever. At that point, I hit a wall. I knew that Myrmidons had been behind my father's kidnapping, but that was all I could learn about them. Wait a minute, then one day I got a tip that some of them were hiding in a building in the Nevada desert. So yeah, what she's implying here has to be either that the 3 pharmaceutical guys that were dealt with as part of that second nonary game, the first game, well no, the second, yeah, the fact that they're all called games doesn't help, but the second nonary incident, which was the focus of the first nonary game, either those pharmaceutical guys are who she's talking about, and they were actually part of the Myrmidons, which would mean that even the original experiment that they were holding was also for the purposes of the Myrmidons, which actually does seem pretty on brand. Or she might be implying that, like, Akane is with them, which would be news. Headed out immediately, but maybe she's going to confirm. On the way there, my car had some engine trouble and stalled out. I was trying to decide what to do, and when this SUV appeared, I know I gave one guess who was behind the steering wheel. Clover. First time we met, there were 4 other people, and I said, just about the last answer I'd expect. They told me they'd been locked up inside the very building and investigate, currently in pursuit of the people who had kidnapped them in the first place. But is she going to confirm which ones were with the Myrmidons? Or is she going to, after a short discussion, convince them to allow me to come along, find the people they were chasing, who I was certain were Myrmidons? Okay, so she thinks, but maybe that's not confirming that Akane is, because then the guy who's locked in the back, unable to track them down, still don't know where they might have gone. Eventually I took Clover and her companions. The police only determined that people who had instigated the particular event were not connected to the Myrmidons. Okay, so not them. Did however discover the mysterious experience, subsequent reappearance of several children 9 years prior was connected to Free the Soul. So yes, that pharmaceutical company and Ace and the other guys that died, they weren't writing in it per se, yeah. Middle-aged man, who we'll just call H for now, had been bound in place in the trunk, and according to the other 4, he'd been behind the disappearance of the 9 years earlier, so yeah. Pharmaceutical was effectively controlled by Free the Soul. Okay, so controlled by Free the Soul, but not necessarily connected to the Myrmidons organization. H was a member of Free the Soul and very committed to their cause. Curious. So why had he kidnapped all those children? Been part of an experiment designed to test the it's called the morphogenic field. Don't imagine I heard giving a quick rundown. No, please don't. Shocked over the experiment carried out by a member of Free the Soul. If that was the case, the brother must have known about it. The thought of him discovering a way to control and harness the power was terrifying. Wasn't long after the incident in Nevada that another trip of the Myrmidons crossed my desk, this time claiming the Myrmidons intended to launch a large-scale biological terrorist attack. Decided that we needed more agents to deal with the threat of that magnitude, and Clover was recruited. Because she'd been a test subject in H's experiments, we knew she had the ability to access the morphogenic field, and wanted to put that ability to use. After several months of training, she was sent on her first mission. She would be tasked with the infiltration and investigation of a Myrmidon cloning lab. I was assigned to be her commanding officer. Our investigation milestone. So she still hasn't found out, so she actually still at that point doesn't know if he's dead. Last I had a chance to find out what had happened to him. I wouldn't let that chance pass me by. Perhaps that was what kept me from noticing the truth, that it was a setup, and yeah, Clover got captured, and she blames herself. And as the commanding officer, yeah, lab was fake. Clover was captured almost immediately. Got there as fast as I could. When I arrived, the building was only an empty shell. All the conspirators who pretended to be researchers and the like had already fled. Clover, in the basement, I found her. She had been tied to a chair, but on the floor next to her was another body. It was my father's, so they knew. Looked as if he didn't jump there, and when I got to him, his body was already cold. He was covered in dark, ugly bruises. One until later, I learned he had died from ruptured organs and internal bleeding. They had beaten him to death. But when? As soon as Clover had been captured, a Myrmidon in a mask had come to visit her. He said that unless she wanted to end up like my father, She would leave them alone and tell her masters at SOS to do likewise. So presumably he had only just been killed, so they'd kept him alive and working for them for that long, only to just kill him then? Yeah, in retrospect, they must have known who I was and who my father was. That was why they'd killed him. Perhaps they thought they were sending a message to me. Or that once he was gone, I'd lose my reason for chasing them. Right, because people never want to, like, double their efforts now that you've killed a family member. Took Clover with me and left, tried to console myself with the fact that I had at least been able to save her. Sometime later, received a call from the coroner. He told me there was something I needed to see. They're in the morgue. Father, cold and pale, still very same look. The coroner insisted. On his arm were 2 rows of numbers, comprised of 8s and 9s. Took me a moment to recognize my father's handwriting. He had carved them into his own skin. On its chest was another message, but they were letters, not numbers. Not many, just enough to make a short sentence. I love you, Alice. Okay. Broke down crying right there in the morgue. What was the code on his arm? First tears I'd shed since the operation had started, and there was no stopping them. There would be no forgiveness. Not for the monsters who put my father through this. They destroyed my family. I would make them pay even if I had to die to do it. That night I made a promise to myself. I would avenge my father. Didn't take long to figure out the numbers I had written were latitude and longitude. Alright, pointing to a chemical factory that had been disguised in an abandoned building. Further investigation revealed it was the motherlode we'd been looking for. The headquarters of the Myrmidons. Wow, they really messed up by letting him get that kind of information. I think my father must have known how things would turn out. Knowing he was going to die, he'd written the directions to our enemy's fortress on his own body, and somehow they hadn't noticed. He'd sacrificed too much for me to waste this opportunity with recklessness. This time our operation would succeed. This time, I wouldn't let my excitement put Clover or any other of my agents in danger. So we took our time, gathered information, did our research as we planned, and finally we were ready. But based on where we are now, and December 25th, 2028 was going to be the day we finally set foot inside their stronghold. But then on the 22nd, only 3 days before the operation was scheduled to begin, a man in a gas mask appeared. So she has no idea if it even went off. Like, would it have gone off with the commander of the event being kidnapped? Probably kind of not. Like, I figured they'd say, no, we need to delay.
Yes.
Curious.
Well, there it is. Everything that's happened with the Myrmidons and me. I left a few of the details out, of course, but you get...
Yeah, thanks. Gave me a sad sort of smile and stood up. Well, considering her knowledge base, we should ask her if all this lying to the sun imagery means anything regarding that. Not yet. Your story explained a lot, but there's still one big question.
Which is?
Who here is a Myrmidon? One of us planted the bombs. And based off the code we found, it's pretty clear that person is a Myrmidon,
yes.
Right? Well, and wanted us to know it, apparently. And I agree, we need to figure out who they are.
What do you propose we do?
So yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. Do you have any clues?
Well, if I could decrypt that code, it might tell us something, but...
Which also means that this is not, indeed, a route where she's discovered the knife. Which also means the old lady's not died. So then where is Akane in this route?
I told you, we need a key. Without that, it's pointless. A key is, it allows you to sort of... Myrmidons usually use this huge string of numbers as a key.
Wait, a long string of numbers? That's a long string for sure. Could that be? Yep. If you're remembering this, surely you don't need that to identify that it's Dio. But maybe that's the point. Oh, did I not need to write it down? Is he just gonna regurgitate it?
What the hell?
I was almost as surprised as she was. The numbers had just kind of appeared in my mind, and I was saying them before I knew what I was doing. Alice looked at me incredulously, and I stared back.
Wait, can you say that again?
That's
198,449,351 to the...
Okay, good
that
for
number
you.
Just told me. Prime factor decomposition on that number gets you 198 million.
Sure. Okay, you're talking about reducing it into a series of prime numbers that you multiply together to get it, right? Like if you had 30, you'd get 235.
Exactly. You probably learned that in junior high.
So you're saying that's a prime, and if you multiply by itself 3 times, you'd get...
Yes.
What's your point?
I did do all of that in simple mental arithmetic.
Good for you.
I told you, I'm better at math than most people. Look at you.
Anyway,
You just
what's the
that
point?
seems pretty astounding, too.
Yeah, his memory is top-notch.
Where did you find that number anyway?
The genetic field, actually. But what, that it just
Can't
came
tell
to
me, huh? Fine. I'm pretty sure that's the key to the code, though.
No, don't say nothing. Say, I honestly am not sure.
I know the Myrmidons use prime factors for their key, and there aren't a lot of 25-digit
Alright.
numbers that turn out. I
Cool.
think there's a very good chance that number you memorized was specifically...
So
Well, look at the
can-
prime factor. 198,449,000. You still don't get it?
Wait, so that's not the key.
Try
but
to
it's
remember
how
the
we can
code we
get to
saw in the
key?
infirmary. What did it say on the monitor?
It had letters, not numbers.
On the second row?
Okay, but he can also just directly remember what was on that. That's pretty good too. Then they just repeat. Yeah, what's your
Wow, you've got a pretty impressive memory. We could
Yeah,
really
honestly.
use someone like you back at the...
Well, keep going. How do we
You
decode
use
that?
198,000,000...
Alright, how do we do that?
Well, the first number is 1.
Actually, don't
So
explain
take
it to
the
me. Can you
first
just
letter.
give me the answer?
The next number is 9, so go 9 letters over from the first one. Then 8 from that one.
C-O-M.
Just keep going until you get... Makes sense?
What to say? Right over what's inside my head. Prime numbers by one of the letters. First letter we see, then yep, the O. Eventually we get a word, and that word was. Oh my goodness. Alright, so now I know I don't need that. Shoot, I need 198-449-351. 198-449-351. Let's see the first 3. Alright, so I know I can erase all of this, because he's already used whatever he needed out of it. And I need to hold on to this other number. And actually, let's leave these here. We'll do it on this one. So it's 198 449 351. No, 449 351. 351. Alright. Fail, the game is over. Code sheet won't be displayed when you input, so be wise to solve it now. The key is 198-449-351. Remember the key. Close this window. Will take you to the input screen. You slimy. That's what they meant. Oh, well, shit. And that's not gonna have been. That's. Shoot! Well, now we can't solve it because I did not understand what the instructions were warning me about. I knew I needed to keep that number, did not get that they meant I needed to hold on to, I needed to solve it there before moving on to this. But that's a really stupid way of doing it anyway, so guess we're gonna have to call this episode here. I will have to get us back, I'll have to fail, get us back to this point and start the next episode with us. I'll probably just go ahead and write it all out and just get us to having solved that. So, thanks for watching, we will catch you next time.